You're listening to The White Rabbit, conversations on the art of presenting in a rather noisy world. Your hosts are Matt Krause and Alper Rozanes. Matt helps leaders of international companies speak, write, and present with confidence. Alper is a communications trainer and a startup investor with a diverse portfolio of companies in Barcelona. If you like this podcast, please share it with friends and colleagues. Now, on to Matt and Alper for today's conversation.
Alper, today we're going to talk about AI and specifically AI in the presentation business. And
of course we will.
Yeah, I know that you and I both have been dragging our feet on this AI thing because we're like, we are not going to talk about AI. Everybody else in the world is talking about AI. We are not going to take the bait. We are not going to do it. But here we are talking about AI.
Bon appetit. We just took the bait.
Yes, we just took the bait. Bon appetit. Okay, so there's Matt's perspective on AI and Alper's perspective on AI. Which one do you want to start with?
Let's start with yours.
Okay. My perspective on AI comes from basically training people to do stuff. I'm a trainer, basically. A trainer of presentation skills, a trainer of public speaking, a trainer. So that's the perspective that I'm coming from.
Okay.
So, and as a trainer, our job as trainers is basically to give people confidence. And by the way, it's not a flattering metaphor to use, but did you know that the meaning of con man, the con in con man is short for confidence?
Don't tell me that. Are you serious? I did not know that.
The con
artist.
Yeah, the con in con artist.
Oh, I did not know that.
The longer version is confidence. So
I thought it was something illegal or like a crime or something.
Yeah, or like a convict or something like that.
Yeah.
But it turns out that the root or the longer version of that is confidence. So it's not a flattering way to say that you're a con man.
I'll say, yeah.
Hey, hello, I'm Matt. I'm a con man. That's not a flattering way to introduce yourself. But that's essentially what we are. We are giving confidence to other people. And we are giving confidence to other people to do things that are not human nature. We're giving confidence to people. For example, recently on the podcast, we were talking about the about slide in a sales presentation. Do you remember that?
Of course, how can I forget?
Yeah. And so our job as trainers is to give people confidence to go into a presentation and not start with about us. Other examples of how we give people confidence to, for example, leave silences in the middle of words as opposed to putting an or an ah in between each word. We give people confidence to have a nonlinear presentation rather than walk into a presentation, because human nature is to be nervous when you're giving a presentation. So to make yourself less nervous, you want to go with the tried and true structure. This is slide 1, this is slide 2, this is slide 3, this is slide 4, this is what I'm going to talk about, this is our agenda for today. That's human nature.
Did you ever think about why we do those things? Shall we turn this episode into an existential?
Yes. Well, I'm always for going the existential route.
Yeah. I mean, why do we do those things? Why do we tell people not to start with the about slide, to put pauses in between sentences?
I think it's because this is my personal opinion. So there will be a gazillion other perspectives on this. But my opinion is that we do these things because one of the things, as a speaker or as a presenter, as a speaker of any sort, you want to fascinate your audience. You want your audience to listen to you. And one of the key ways, one of the surest ways to make your audience listen to you is to break a pattern, because your audience, when it sees a broken pattern, it's going to pay attention and it's going to see if you can put that pattern back together. So if the audience sits down and they are expecting a linear presentation, slide 1, slide 2, slide 3, slide 4, and they're bored already. You haven't even entered the room and your audience is already bored. And then you walk in there and you're strutting and you're all confident and you're like, let's do this presentation. Let's just start anywhere you want today. Let's start with section 4, and if you want, and then we'll jump to section 1. We'll do this in whatever order you want. You have broken the pattern that your audience was expecting. And now they're going to pay attention to you and say, how is this person going to put this broken thing back together? I want to see this. So
Okay.
that's my little existential input. What do you think about that?
Well, I was thinking at the same time why I tell people to do those things. I think primarily because that's how I like them, and when I saw other people doing that, it really resonated with me. It really made me pay more attention, and then I started practicing it myself, and I started getting positive feedback about that. So I think it became like a positive feedback loop. Like I see it, other people, I like it. When I do it, other people like it. So you're absolutely right in the sense that it's a breaking of the pattern, because it's not the status quo. It's
Okay.
not how things are usually done in this place. It's a little different than that.
Yeah.
And you're absolutely right. Tying to the beginning of your talk, it's completely connected to the way you feel confident. I mean, I think you need to feel confident to go out of the routine, to try something new, and see that the world doesn't fall apart. So
Yeah. So
I just never considered ourselves con artists or con
Yeah.
men.
Well, I probably would never, at a party, I would probably never go up and introduce myself as, "Hi, my name is Matt, and I'm a con man." I would probably never.
I
say
might. I'm going to try that.
that. Yeah. Let me know how
Let's
that
see if we
works
can
out.
muster up enough confidence to do that.
Okay. So shall we get back to AI?
Yes.
Okay. So my take on AI as a trainer / con man, my take on AI is that what is AI's source material? By AI, I mean things like ChatGPT, for example. What is AI's source material? For AI's
Is it
source
us?
material, yeah, it's basically us.
Okay.
It's AI is scraping the internet, and what's on the internet? The internet is the sum total of human knowledge, or at least the people who are using the internet, which is like, I don't know, a billion out of the 7 billion people on the earth, or something like that.
Oh my God, the AI is trending on cat videos.
Yes.
What could possibly go wrong with that?
I wonder if you're like an AI programmer, if you are like, okay, well, scrape the internet minus the cat videos. So, but anyway, so as trainers, we are competing against AI, and AI's source material is the sum total of human knowledge.
Mm-hmm.
So AI's source material is human nature.
Yes.
And our job is to give people the confidence to go against human nature. So it's highly unlikely that we are going to end up going in the same direction as AI. So that's my take on it as a trainer, is that we don't need to worry too much about AI, because our clients are coming to them because what AI was providing them, human nature, was not working for them, and they needed the confidence to do something else.
Okay. Can I ask you something about that?
Sure, go for it.
So let's say the AI is patterning the information that it sees so far, and it's coming up with a slide, not design, but a slide deck that starts with the about us. So in the sales presentations that you mentioned. So at the moment, it is the pattern that it is creating. But when enough people like you and me talk about, don't start with the about us, start with the audience instead, start with a problem that they are having, which is becoming the wider conversation.
Yeah.
Isn't it going to adapt that and start recommending that?
Yeah.
If it is not doing it already, because I'm not sure how it is working at the moment.
When everybody in the world starts thinking like we do, we're dead.
We'll be long gone. I was thinking about the same thing. Yeah. It's not going to happen in the next 40 years.
Yeah. We have job security in that we're freaks. And it's highly unlikely that the mass of humanity is going to start thinking not like the mass of humanity. And if it does, then we're going to end up, we'll be flying around on private jets, and being served fancy cocktails. So we're not going to have to worry about that too much. We're going to be out of here by the time that happens.
Okay. Can I pick your brain further
Sure.
on the AI?
Go for it.
Do you think, I mean, when given enough time and training, do you think it could ever fully replace human presenters?
Do I think that AI could ever fully replace human presenters?
Yeah. I mean, can you imagine yourself walking into a conference and listening to someone, not someone, but something, let's say, presenting?
Yeah, you could probably do that now. You throw up I don't have the technology here in the room, but to make a hologram, but you throw up a hologram of a person and then you feed that hologram an AI generated presentation, it's probably going to be, well, it's going to be AI-ish. And what AI is great for is being slightly above average. Because if in this, again, we're back to Matt's opinion here. If your source material is scraping the things that a lot of people say, it's highly likely that you are at best going to be slightly above average. And so like for example, when I need to be slightly above average, me personally, or when I need a client to do something slightly above average, AI is probably the best and fastest place to go. Like if I want, for example, if I want a Bulgarian yogurt-based recipe, I can type that into ChatGPT, or I can rummage around on YouTube or something, and ChatGPT is probably going to get it to me faster than YouTube. And that recipe, it might not be the best recipe in the world, but at least now Matt's cooking Bulgarian, and people are going to be impressed by that. So its appearance, at its essence, it's only slightly better than average. But because Matt is now cooking Bulgarian, it's way above average. To other people, it appears to be way above average because it allowed this guy who wouldn't know how to cook a Bulgarian dish, if his life depended on it, he's suddenly cooking Bulgarian. So back to the presentation, you could, take a hologram of Luke Skywalker and have Luke Skywalker talking about, you feed an AI presentation to this hologram of Luke Skywalker, and Luke Skywalker is suddenly up there talking about dashboards on Renaults or whatever the AI subject was.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, to play the devil's advocate, or the AI's advocate in this case.
Sure.
I have never tried it, but what kind of responses do you think you would get if you asked, well, I have this board meeting coming up. I want to be confident. I want to be competent. And I want you to give me tips on what to do, what not to do, etc. How do you think its tips or ideas would be different than what you and I would dispense to a person?
Let me back up a second in order to address that question.
Okay.
I think of personally, I think of AI a lot as the machinery that can do work that used to be done by workers in a factory situation. Blue collar workers have faced this issue for decades. And the only reason that we're talking about AI so much these days is because finally there's a tool out there that can make a lot of the white collar workers' work go away. If it takes, let's say that 100 years ago, it took 1 million people to make one car. Now maybe, let's say it takes 10 people to make a car. And the reason is that you have a lot of robots and machines that are doing work that humans used to do. In my perspective, AI is a lot the same. If now the world's presentation work is done by 1 million people, AI is going to take out what 750,000 of them are doing, and there are only going to be 250,000 left.
Okay.
So our job as presentation designers or as presentation coaches is to do what we've kind of probably already been doing, which is to raise the bar on ourselves and seek to be one of the best in our industry anyway. Because if you're not playing that game, if you're not trying to be one of the best in your industry, then AI is going to take you out in a few seconds.
Okay.
I've gone on for that so long that I've forgotten your question. What was your original question?
I'm going to follow up on that. Okay. I was being the devil, no, not the devil's. I was being the AI advocate at that moment. And my question was about, we started this conversation by saying that AI takes patterns, trains itself on the human, so on the human knowledge. So
okay.
When I had tried this before several weeks ago. I said, give me a sales techniques presentation template, and it started with garbage. It was literally garbage. But these are the early trials, so there is no obstacle between the current state and getting better into the future. And you and I proclaim that we will be long dead or gone before we can be replaced by it. And my question is, right now we are telling people to be more confident, to go outside of the pattern when they make presentations.
Yeah.
And AI is giving them garbage. But what is to stop AI from giving them, what is to prevent AI from giving them the advice that you and I are dispensing like next month or even next year. I don't know about you, but I'm planning to be here next year. So it's not like I will be long gone before AI can take over.
Okay. First of all, let me. I remembered my train of thought from your previous question about the board meeting and stuff like that. So I'm going to go back to that and address that. And if you are pitching to the board, you've got two people pitching to the board, and they're competing over limited resources. You know, the board's support for project A and project B, and the board can only support one of them. So you've got two people competing to see, okay, whose project is the board going to support? And one of them has an AI produced presentation, which AI is producing material that is slightly above average. And
that is our hypothesis, by the way, right? Is that
me?
a fact? Is that a fact? That is our opinion, right? I mean, just to be clear.
What is?
That the AI is producing only slightly above average results.
It is our opinion. And the basis of that opinion is that AI's source material is scraped from the internet. By scraping from the internet, you can at best get what is on the internet. And what is on the internet? The bell curve mathematical average of what is on the internet is going to be average. If you curate that a little bit, you're going to get slightly above average. So pretty much the best that you can get with an AI presentation, if the source material is being scraped from the internet, pretty much what you can get at best is slightly above average. So if you've got two people pitching to the board, then the person who's going to succeed is the one who is not using something that's slightly above average. Let's say that this person does a presentation that rocks. So our job as trainers is to help that person do a presentation that rocks, because if that person is going up against someone with an AI generated presentation, that AI generated presentation is going to be slightly above average, and the board members are going to listen to that presentation and say, your presentation was slightly above average. Congratulations to you for that, but it was only slightly above average. However, this other person who was also giving a presentation was way above average, so we're going to give our support to that person. And like I say, it's theoretically entirely possible that AI at some point, instead of scraping the entire web that produces average, somehow it's going to end up making suggestions that would be much above average. And in order to do that, it would need a large number of people to start not following human nature. And in my lifetime, I haven't seen that. I hope that it happens. And if it does happen, if the majority of humans starts saying the thing that us freaks say, then that'll be great. And we'll be flying around on planes, and we're not going to care about this anymore. We're going to be flying around on our private jets and taking our yachts to the Maldives, and we're not going to care about this anymore.
Actually, when you say that, not the jet or the yacht, but when you say that, it's interesting. We still need to talk about builds and black screens and very basic stuff. So I can be on board with that. Yeah. But I mean, not only being our longest episode so far, I believe, I'm not nearly half at half point with my questions, but I mean, we're going to wrap up. But we threw a lot of statements into the air in this episode. So I think in the future episodes, we're going to need to back them up, defend them, or, butt heads with them. Yeah. But we made a lot of proclamations today, and we'd better live up to our word and actually touch base on them to reinforce, at least to support them in the future episodes.
Yeah, we could talk about this subject for 9 million hours, but in the interests of wrapping up this episode and not going on for 9 hours, we're going to stop it here. And believe me, we have plenty of material to talk about this in the future. So you're going to hear some more about this. And by the way, I just wanted everyone to know that this episode was entirely produced by ChatGPT. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah,
I'm just.
You
kidding.
wish.
I wish. Okay, so we're gonna kind of wrap it up abruptly. There, we're gonna stop rattling on there. So, Alper, are you cool with that if we stop here?
Yes, of course. But I'm sure we'll be back on this topic.
Yeah, we'll be back on this topic. So thank you very much, Alper. And this was mainly
talking to you.
Today was Matt spouting